didn't look twice when they saw me walking my cat on a leash. Everett loved going for walks. He was a social cat with slick chocolate-brown short hair and bright green eyes. My Aunt Eloise was a cat fancier and bred Havana Browns. Everett was the great-grandson of her best show cat, Elton, and just as handsome, if I say so myself. Aunt Eloise loved Havana Browns because they were charming, outgoing, and playful. Everett fit the bill to a T. "Hi, Wren," Barbara Miller said as she stepped out of Books and More. "Hello, Everett. Are you two off to the beach?" "I thought we'd walk the shore for a bit," I said. "I've been making candy all morning, and I needed to stretch my legs." "Are you making honey taffy for the Halloween Town celebration?" "It is a favorite for Halloween Town," I said. Funny how people like the taffy for Halloween Town, but prefer the dark chocolate for the Big Foot Festival. Halloween Town was a series of Disney movies that were filmed on the coast of Oregon. In honor of the movies, Oceanview celebrated all things magical and scary every year for an entire week in October. "Everything in your shop is wonderful," she said. "I don't know how people choose. Now that I think of it, I need a couple of new candles. Is someone minding the shop?" "Portia is there," I said. "She can help you pick out the best beeswax candles for the season." "Oh, good," Barbara said. "I'm on my way over there now. Toodles!" I watched her walk off. Barbara Miller was my grandmother's neighbor. They had grown up together. While my grandma had to use a walker, Barbara still got around quite well in her athletic shoes, jeans, and jacket. Her short hair went from gray in the back to white in the front, but it framed her wide face well. Everett and I headed down the nearly empty street. Since it was October, most of the large crowds of tourists had left the coast, leaving the diehards and the locals. It was my favorite time of year. I loved the colors of fall, when the ocean was a deep, cold blue. The trees had begun to turn red and yellow, while the pines were dark green. Orange pumpkins dotted the sidewalks, along with autumnal wreaths and Halloween decorations. The thing about Everett was he was a bit of a talker. He liked to comment on things we saw in our walks. I talked to him often without even realizing that most people didn't understand talking to a cat. "Want to go down to the beach?" I asked him. "Are you talking to that cat?" Mildred Woolwright said as she passed by. "Oh, hello," I said. "Yes, I guess I was." She blinked at me. "You're a bit too young to be a crazy cat lady." "I'm not crazy," I said with a smile, "but I'll admit to being a cat lady." Mildred rolled her eyes and continued down the street as I winked at Everett. "Shall we go to the beach?" Cats don't usually care too much for water, but Everett had grown up beside the ocean, and as long as we didn't get too close to the water's edge, he didn't mind the sand. He meowed his agreement, and we left the promenade. There were a few slight dunes where the wind had blown the sand between the promenade and the Pacific Ocean. They rolled gently, no more than a yard high, and were covered with waving beach grass. Everett loved the feel of the grass against his fur. Bonfires were allowed on the beach, and the evidence of them crunched under our feet. Black charcoal spread out in piles large and small. Pieces of charred wood scattered about. The beach was a deep stretch of sand that narrowed during high tide and stretched out during low tide. I was enjoying the sound of the ocean and searching the waves for evidence of whales when I felt Everett pull on his leash. "What?" I asked as I followed him past a clump of dune grass.